Hi guys. So since we now have Halloween on the agenda for this month, now I want to talk about a couple of things that's about certain movies. About movies that we watch time to time. But let me just tell you this. Nowadays, I'm really not that much into horror movies. Like there's some horror movies now. But either way, it's not because they're scary. It's because they're not scary anymore. Nowadays we have movies like The Purge, which is sort of a horror movie. We have movies like, like the Conjuring series, The Conjuring 1 and 2, Annabelle Creation, The Nun. Don't bother, it sucks. But either way, movies like those, now we're just like, oh, we're now making movies about ghosts and possessions and stuff like that. Stuff I'm just like, stop it, please. But now I want to talk about certain horror movies, the slasher genre, or any type of genre in general, that has certain rules you have to obey. And we're going to talk about them today. So since I have not done a top 10 something in quite a long time, I want to talk about the top 5 cliched in horror movies. Now I know you're probably saying, oh, you must really hate the cliches, really that bad. Well, no. The cliches in horror movies I get really sick of, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, if you like these cliches, good for you. But for me, let's kick off. Number 5. Number 5. You can't have sex. In a horror movie, they have this rule all the damn time. Mostly in slasher films. In horror movies, you can't have sex. You can't have it. That's why if you're a virgin, you're bound to survive. But if you're that guy or girl or whatever who had sex, well, pretty much, well, you're pretty much fucked. Sorry. But either way, people like certain movies, let's just say we have the hot blonde chick, or the geeky, or sometimes not geeky, or sometimes jock. Mostly the blonde and the jock are most likely the one characters that will get killed, most likely. Why? Because they had sex. Or it's not just like a woman who's the blonde chick. Let's just say the average smoking hot woman who literally is not the main female character. But even though the character that you see, they had sex, they had it, so pretty much, they're fucked. But now let's talk about why is it that if you're a virgin, you're bound to survive? Why? So why do virgins survive a lot? Why couldn't it be like, hey, I'm this virgin, but I've never had sex at all, but oh, I'm lucky enough I won't get killed. They have this in every horror movie where they have a virgin, they survive, and they probably may have had sex in the sequel or whatever. So here's one thing I want to say. Why do virgins always survive? But even though, if you're a virgin, you'll survive. But I guess if you're a virgin in Scream 4, you're dead. Number 4. Sorry. If you're a blonde, you're easy enough to get killed. If you are a blonde, you are easy enough to get killed. Now let's take a lot of people who are blondes. I mean, blonde chicks are easily the easiest people to easily kill, honestly. Now, let's ask another good question. Now, what stands in the dark a lot thicker than a sore thumb? person with blonde hair. Now, what's the one type of color that can blend in the dark, that no one can't see you? Oh, I know the answer to that. Dark hair. I guess it's kind of like how you say, it's kind of like how Robin is. You know, Batman's partner. And it's kind of obvious because when you think about it, Robin is an easy target to scope out. Now let's look at someone like Batman. Someone who wears dark, but sometimes in the comic book he wears darkish, blue-ish. But now with Robin, I can see why Tiny Toons made a parody of Robin calling him the decoy. Because really, the poor boy's a decoy. An obvious decoy. Number 3. The brunette chick always survives. And also the nerdy best friend also survives. Now let's take movies like Scream for 1 second. Now, if those of you who have not seen Scream or know what Scream even is, Scream is about a movie where a killer calls you with a cool sounding voice, and he calls you and he makes it sound like he wants to talk about movies, but really he wants to kill you, and he wears a ghost face mask. That's Scream. Now, in the ending of Scream, the brunette chick is Cindy Prescott. Cindy Prescott is literally the character who always survives in the Scream movies. I mean, she always survives in the Scream movies. Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4. But even though she is the character who always survives. She's the brunette girl that survives. Now here's another thing I actually kind of liked about the movie Get Out. The movie Get Out kind of definitely switches the whole entire thing about, hey, we have the black guy who's the main character, and we have the brunette girl as his girlfriend, turning into the as the bad guy. Now I kind of like the idea that they switched it, which, don't worry, we're going to get to the next one pretty soon. But now, why is it that the nerdy friend survives? Now I'm not saying the nerdy friend has to be this geeky white guy, but either way, it's kind of go back to what I said in part 5. They've never had sex. Yeah, I guess I can see why that works. But you don't bother to kill the geeky guy first? I mean, you kill the jock, you kill the smoking blonde chick, you kill all these other characters back and forth, and who survives? The geeky kid, the geeky nerdy kid or whatever, and the brunette. So they die and the other people survive. I guess when I mean by the other people, I mean the geeky nerdy kid or the brunette white girl, whatever. Number 2. If you're black, you're gonna get killed. Now take it for most people who are black. Now if you're a black man or a black woman, now sometimes there are certain movies where the black woman does sort of survive. There are some films where sometimes the black guy sort of survives, or sometimes the black guy saves the day, saves everybody from the threat or whatever. And now looking at some movies like Poltergeist. Yes, that's my favorite movie of all time. And I'm talking about the original Poltergeist, not the remake. Poltergeist, a black guy survives. Now why is it when it comes to slasher films, the black guy is always the perfect target? Now here's the basic rules. If you're a geeky kid, geeky nerdy kid, you'll survive. If you're a brunette girl, you'll survive. If you're a jock, you'll survive. Sorry. I said that wrong. you'll die. If you're a black guy, or black in general, you'll die. You'll get killed. And if you're a blonde, you're most likely a rabbit, getting as a blonde woman. But now, let's talk about my #1 favorite top pick of why I hate horror movies. Why horror movies are losing their touch. Why horror movies nowadays, are they getting better, or are they just getting just the same thing all the time? I'm going to come out and say it. In #1 place, everybody makes stupid choices. In a horror movie, you make the most dumbass choices. Like, my favorite dumbass choice of all time, I think, in any movie. Now, I know you guys probably know the movie Night of the Living Dead. Well, they made a remake of that. Now, don't trust me, it's not as bad as it seems. But there was one dumb ass motherfucking scene that I saw, and I'm like, you fucking dumbass. It's when one of the guys is at a gas station, he's trying to open the gas tank or whatever, and you know, he's like, oh, I can't open it, oh, I have a shotgun, I'm gonna use that to, and then he does that. Well, those who have common sense, yeah, I'm watching that, I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? Why the fuck would you do that? What, you thought the gas thing was gonna open if you shot it? Like, what? How stupid can you be? I mean, even Chris Hemsworth from Ghostbusters the remake would have been that stupid. And just every time in the Saw movies, people make stupid ass choices. In a horror movie, everybody makes stupid ass choices. They're like, oh, here's the one thing I get sick and tired of. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go upstairs, even though upstairs the killer's gonna easily kill me, and I'm gonna be dumb enough to be like, oh, I'm gonna be this big-breasted, blonde-headed chick. I'm just gonna run upstairs when I should be running out of the house. And then next we're gonna have, oh, don't run in the woods. Why? Because you'll get easily killed. Stop running into the goddamn woods, people. You're just giving the killer enough time to kill you. And don't run up the stairs. What's the point of running up the damn stairs? Every woman who's in the Friday the 13th movies, like, why would you run up the stairs? What's the point of running up the damn stairs? And yes, in other movies like thrillers, mystery and suspense films, you know, I kind of like those type of movies because, you know, they have characters who don't make stupid ass choices. But yes, in a horror movie, you make stupid ass choices. So with that being said, that's all my top 5 cliches that I hate in horror movies. I know this took a lot longer, but either way, I still would watch horror movies. Now, there's some horror movies I actually do like nowadays, like It, 2017's It. And yes, will movies ever get better? Please don't make them this. Please stop using these cliches in horror movies. Just seriously, please stop using these cliches in horror movies. Because I'm just getting sick and tired of those type of cliches. And it really pisses me off when they use cliches like this. So either way, horror movies, well, speaking of horror movie characters, we're going to talk about Sidney Prescott in the next video. So with that being said, Vert Spy, outro.